Greetings. So, this is going to be another pick a card reading for our passed over loved ones. And this installment is going to be um, in regards to our deceased grandfathers. Okay. So, some of these messages may resonate and some of them may not resonate. So, most likely it's going to be some messages for you and some messages for others. So, just know when to discern what's for you and what to leave alone. Right. Um, So we'll keep these installments going all the way up until November for the Day of the Dead, just to honor our loved ones, our passed over loved ones, right? So I have three decks for you guys to choose from, which will represent each pile. So pile one is going to be the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. Pile number two is going to be the Dia de los Muertos Oracle deck. And lastly, the Beloved Dead for pile three. Okay, it's our oracle choices. And then as a bonus, I will be using, forgot to get the Oracle deck because I did the Mother Mary for the grandmothers. Can't use the same deck for that. I'll figure it out. What messages the grandfathers want to talk to us through. But yeah, so this is going to be our message. And I'll give you guys a moment to meditate and reflect on which pile resonates with you. And then we'll go ahead and start the reading. Okay, let's see. I am looking for a deck for the fathers to come through, the grandfather energy. I'm going to use this. This is like a mediumship deck. So I'm going to use the messages from heaven as a bonus for this group because I didn't think in time. So I'm going to need it late. But it's all good. We make mistakes over here. We all make mistakes, right? So hopefully you guys have your pile chosen for you. And we'll get this thing popping and going, okay? All right, so pile number one, you guys were drawn to the Ancestors or Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck. This is your reading, okay? So we're going to tap into the grandfather's energy just to see, what wants to come through. So if you guys did not watch the grandmother one, you might want to check that one out. I also did a deceased fathers and mothers one for those of you that may have a deceased mother and father or one or the other. So let's go ahead and tap in. We cast down all vain imaginations or any high thing that tries to exalt self, get the knowledge and wisdom and truth of you. It could be because I'm using the hoodoo deck, but I always feel the need to do something for them. The last one, they had me pull out a cigar. This one, I feel like taking a shot. But I'm probably not going to do that because it is very early in the morning. So maybe that's something that you guys are being called to do, or I'm not going to condone drinking, okay? Maybe put it on an altar space. If you have an altar space for your ancestors, your grandfathers could be requesting that right now. 9 of Sticks. I'm actually saying like clear liquor. I'm not saying like brown liquor. I'm saying clear liquor. So they might like the clears. Vodkas, silver tequilas, whatever. Okay, so all right, your grandfather, he could have owned some type of business He definitely worked with his hands and sharp objects. He worked with a lot of knives. It was like meat markets, like something with um yeah, like meat, possibly. He may have had his own farm, could have had his own roosters. Your grandfather was very cocky. Some of your grandfather was Nigerian, Ghanaian, Ghanaian. um, hmm, yeah. Farther back, like your grandfather, um, I feel like he was in his prime in the 20s or the 30s. He was very cocky. I feel like he was an Aries, Aries maybe, a Leo, Taurus, Capricorn. Ooh, like I feel he was that he was that kind that drove women like insane. Like what I mean by like wanting to be with him really badly. There might be one woman in particular that might have been like real crazy or something, or very crazy over him or something. Like, mm, grandfather might have been a little bit stingy with his money. My stomach is growling. Yeah, he might have been a little bit stingy, or depending on like the people. My cat is scaring me. What is he doing? What are you doing? I don't know what he's doing. You gotta watch him. He's just bad. He mischievous. Maybe your grandpa. I don't know. I don't know. You know, animals, they be like delivering us messages sometimes. And I kind of get this weird vibe that like my cat is kind of showing me the energy of your grandfather. Like he could be like a trickster and like sneaky and um like I don't know, like mischievous, but I'm not like saying like he's a bad person, but like he had some things that he was doing. Um Things about him like you couldn't catch him with the railroad bill, like you can't catch him. He was fast, like way ahead of people. Like he was very smart, like very strategic with his actions. Like catch me if you can. Like as soon as you think that you got him on something, he already cleaned it up. Or yeah, he was a sneaky one. But I feel like that comes from some type of survival tactics that he had to use. His mother could have been a praying woman, but a gun toting woman. Like she didn't play no games. Like I'll read my Bible, but I got my pistol on my right side or on my left side. Like my Bible on my left, my pistol on my right. Don't fuck with me. Don't play with me. Your grandmother, or great grandmother, excuse me. Her name could have had May in it. Mae, May, something with May. She didn't play that. I feel like she was she was someone that maybe I'm getting like service. Like she could have been a nurse or what's that? Like a CNA kind of, or she helped people with their kids or something. Like she was very giving, very service like. But if somebody like cheated her out of some money, she would check them. So he learned that from her very young. Like she would go like step to him like, excuse me, like, yeah. Um, oh, he could cook too. Your grandpa can cook. I love men that can cook. Your grandpa, I feel like he could cook. And he learned that from his mother. He is a country dude too. So some of you like down south, not all of your grandfathers, but most of your grandfathers, very country. He was eating gators. He was eating rattlesnakes. Like he's that type. I could see that. Hmm. And that was his love language, was to cook for people. Like he loved to cook. I feel like he was good at it. And when I say know how to cook, not just like grill and make some side dishes and stuff. He knew how to bake from scratch. Like he's a some from scratch person. Down south, southern. Um, could have had a cat that he was very fond of, or like a dog, like a big dog or cat that it was a female dog or cat that he called. It was like a name, like maybe Sheba or some type of like goddess like energy. May have named her after. It was like a pretty name. I don't know. I'm just throwing out names, but I feel like the energy was like that's my girl. Like he was like, this is my girl. Your grandmother, something your grandma is connected to this pet, this cat. Let me let my baby in. I'm gonna keep talking because I have my microphone on me. Let me see if he wants to come in. Um, your grandmother could have gifted him this pet. He might refer to your grandmother as like feline, like seductive. He loves something about your grandmother's eyes. Your grandmother's could have had like hazel eyes, light brown, green, um, maybe blue. It stood out to him. Maybe she was darker skinned and she had these really light colored eyes, so he was very fond of that. Grandmother would put him in his place. Like if it wasn't for her, he would be way worse. Because I'm getting like, yeah, he was a handful. He was something else, but she kept him in check. Your grandfather is like very strong. Your grandmother or his mother, so your great grandmother, she was, like I said, she was sweet, respectable, even, but if you crossed her, if you played with her, she was very fearless. She would speak her mind. She would step to you. She would address you. And at times, like you might struggle with speaking your truth, and your grandfather's like, over here, the women in my family, like we don't hold they don't hold their tongues. They don't play that. They don't want you to be volatile or aggressive or getting yourself into trouble. But it's like you hold your tongue too much in a way where you should be speaking up for yourself. You put yourself in a headspace of frustration and confusion, and you take it out on yourself when you should be addressing people respectfully. I feel there's some things that you may have let slide. He's very fearless. He is very fearless. Like he's not afraid of anyone. He learned that from his mother. And I want to say this isn't, I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, but you understand, if you get it, you get it. So back in the day, like way, way, way back in the day, like the women had to take a lot of service jobs where they had to clean up for white families and take care of their children and things like that. And sometimes even like harsh conditions, um, you know, things like that. And there would be times where the white families would try to cheat them out of their worth, out of their money, or, try to get one over on them because they thought a lot of black people were stupid, uneducated, and all of that. So, yeah, I'm getting like there might have been some instances where your great grandmother had to um, make some things straight. Like, excuse me, like, I'm short a couple of dollars. Like, what's up? What you like? What's going on? She wasn't afraid to do that. And why that's kind of a scary thing to do, because the consequences of that could be, calling the police or something worse happening to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on the time that she lived, the era that she lived in, you know, to be bold in that. That's why he said she's fearless. The women in our family, they speak their mind, they speak their truth. They don't take no shit. They don't play that. Definitely in the South, like if you know, working for, you know, white families and things like that, white folks that, you know, still have that inherent racism in them sometimes, that's a dangerous game. Like, you're playing a dangerous game. It's still dangerous in some areas in the South. Like, you can't go to certain places at certain times of the day or shoot broad daylight. So just imagine back in those days, like, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Like, there, it's a heavy emphasis on that. Like, that's to show you as a testament. Like, my mother was, she was not scared of anything or anybody. Like, you couldn't play your grandmother. You couldn't, or great grandmother, excuse me. You could not play her. You just couldn't. All right, so I'm gonna pull some oracle messages. I feel like your grandfather went to church for women when he was young, like teenager, early 20s. Like, his mom, like, you coming to church, boy? And he'll come to church. Your grandfather, he'll come to church and be there just looking at girls. You know, he was something else. I'm getting for some of you, not all of you, but it's funny. Okay. There's a lot of cards trying to come out. Root of fire, risk it all. Like, yeah, he wants you to be bolder. Be bold. And if you are a grandson of his, there's some things maybe that you need to work through with women, like, because he respected his mother. He respected her gangster too, more than anything. He respected her servitude. He respected how she worked very hard for the things that she had, and how much of a giver she was, how of a God-fearing woman she was in her faith and her belief and her convictions, but her truth, how she honored herself, her protective energy that she had. He respects that. The matriarch, the nurture the harvest. Yeah, he loves women, but he had some ways about him, though. He has some ways. He loves his mother very dearly. She's everything to him, because he talked about her a lot in this. I noticed Father God, radical truth. Okay, so his faith and belief in God, bliss. That's him when he's little. He's also very childlike. He might come in the form of a child sometimes, or his energy. If you have a son, he's very much like your child is very much so like him. Like, I don't feel like he's a reincarnate of him. Um, Somebody might believe that he is. I don't know. I'm not here to say that he is, or I'm not gonna do that. But I feel like the energy is very similar, very jovial, playful. Your son might take to, like, certain objects, like play with certain objects, like pretend like they're swords, or because your grandfather worked with like a lot of sharp objects, but like gardening tools and maybe meat cleavers, like things like that. And your son likes those types of things. The high priestess, intuition and knowingness. Like, your grandfather's energy very well, whether you've gotten a chance to spend time with him in this lifetime, or you just heard things about him and you feel the connection. You know his energy like the back of your hand, so strongly. And like I said, for some of you guys have a son that embodies that energy of your grandfather very, very strongly. So let's get some messages from him, your grandfather, and we'll close this out. I'm going to use the messages from heaven, communication cards, melodies from heaven. All right, let's see. Message from the grandfathers of collective pile one. Let the animals on earth support you. Feel their unconditional love. Yeah, he had a fondness for cats. or his cat. And so cats could be a reminder of his presence as well, and the comfort that they brought. He's very fond of this little cat he had. It was a female cat, excuse me. It was a female cat that he was very fond of. I would say dog, but I'm gonna trust that it was a cat because that was the first thing I got. And why did my aunt text me? This sounds like my grandfather's energy really heavy, and there's something significant with cats. I'm not gonna get into it when it comes to him. And she just sent me something called Talk Meows. So that's confirmation, child. It's kind of scary. Yeah, so cats. Something with cats. Okay. Maybe most of his life he spent afraid of felines, got over it. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting. Something with the animal kingdom. Pay attention to him. Remember, I told you my kitty, he was outside acting a fucking fool for a little bit. And I felt like that was a message, something from your grandfather. Okay. Very jovial, very playful, catch me if you can type energy about him. But I feel like you know his energy and his spirit very well. Trust yourself. You are a high priest or high priestess. And there's something again with like respecting the divine feminine if you are a male. Okay. That's what your grandfather's message is. If he was a mess when it came to the women now. And I feel like your grandmother got him all the way together. Had to get him all the way together. All right, so let's go ahead and close this reading out. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. If you did like this video, I will put in the description and in the comments the link to my ancestral readings if you would like to book your own ancestral message and readings. I'll be glad to help you with that. Shadow work reads as well throughout October if you're interested. That link will be in the description as well as in the comments. So much love to you guys. Be blessed, be safe. Until next one. Peace. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Let's get pile number 2 in order. So pile number 2. If you guys were drawn to the Dia de los Muertos deck, this is your reading. So we're gonna tap into your grandfather's energy, and just FYI, okay? Some messages may resonate with you, and some of them may not even be for you. Okay, so just discern which ones are for you, and then which ones to, just leave for someone else, whoever it's meant for, right? So we're gonna tap in. Ooh, these grandfather energies is something else now. I don't know. Could be my Venus energy, and like welcome, and welcome. Hey, hey, masculines. Hey, but I heard suave. Okay, okay. Your grandfather was fine. I feel like, ooh, hey, I can see them. It's funny. Okay, I'm good. Let's tap in. Oh Lord. Because the first pile, their grandfather was something else too. I was like, hey, now, like, stop. I feel like my grandfather was in that one too. So I'm just like, okay. Very familiar with y'all type, y'all kind, okay? So before we get into the oracles, we're going to do the tarot first. Then we'll pull from the oracle. And then I'll pull a bonus message from the Message from Heaven communication cards as a message to you from your grandfather. Or grandfathers, you might be asking about more than one. Let's see, because more than one might actually come through for this group or any group, but let's see. Four of Pentacles. You might have been in a band. Very musical. The Tower. The Temptation. Oh, see, I told you, I'm telling you, your grandfather was fine, okay? He was a ladies' man. very sexy and seductive. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, he was a musician. Very much a musician. Eight of Wands. Your grandparents could have met through some type of party. Yeah. Okay. I kind of got a similar energy in the grandmother reads. Ace of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the La Luna, the moon. Um, yeah, your grandmother has Oshun energy and maybe even Yemoya energy. They might be familiar with those particular ancestors or gods and goddess energies, the spirits. They're connected to them. So I'm getting a similar energy from the grandmother reading I did slightly, but almost from a different perspective. Some of it may not be all of it. Maybe you resonated with that one of those piles. So if so, double message of confirmation for you, because I'm seeing some type of dynamic here. I'm seeing interracial connections. Your grandmother could have been um, of Spaniard descent, and your grandfather was of African descent or Caribbean or Afro Latino descent. It's like a dark skinned man with a fair skinned woman, or she could have been biracial herself, or maybe even Creole. So, um, hmm. Yeah, because I'm seeing Oshun energy and I'm also seeing Yemoya energy. Your grandmother could have had Oshun energy. You could have Yemoya energy. Your grandfather is very much so his favorite color could have been red, black and red. He was a big ass flirt, but very suave. That's the word. The first thing when I tapped in before I pulled the cards, I heard suave. Very, very seductive. He could dance too. He was a dancer, I feel. He was either a dancer or he could just really dance. Like not professional dance. He's definitely a musician in a band. He played instruments. Feel like his family or like people in his neighborhood, he might have created or came together and had a band. He would do some gigs. He wouldn't make much money. It was kind of like a side hustle, but I feel like it was something more so that he knew how to do. So he was like, well, why not make some extra money and do like a bar or something like that? But he's a gifted musician. I feel like he can play multiple instruments. Um, I feel like your grandparents struggled a little bit, like they didn't know where their next dollar was going to come from, or it was like kind of slow money for them. Yeah, they went through a lot of changes, and it could have been something with the economy, something like they had to do a lot of survival things, but he stayed having gigs. That's one thing I do pick up on. Like he stayed being able to work clubs or something or events. I even feel like if he lived, what is this? I picked up Cuba in the one of my in the grandmother one. I'm seeing Cuba again. Like if he lived in the Caribbean or something or near an island, they performed just I mean, maybe to make coins or maybe to possibly run into someone that could book them better gigs. I don't know, I'm seeing that. Like um mm. Yeah, I feel like they worked with they knew of the Oshuns and the Yemoyas and the Shangos and the Oyas and um yeah, they knew like they would yeah, they would use their music to celebrate the ancestors and things like that. I feel like yeah, your father had really dark hair, really dark hair. For some of you, they weren't a darker skinned man. They were maybe more of the what most people would say is a traditional Latino man look. Dark hair, fair skin, seemed like slick back hair. Like I'm telling you, he was fine. Like people was like women was very fond of him and the fact that he could dance, he could play instruments and music, maybe even sing a little bit. Like he had the gift of gab. Like he was something else. He could cut up, okay? He could definitely cut up a rug, right? Um, I feel like he was. I don't want to say that. Some of you, not all your grandfathers, but some of your grandfathers was cheating on grandma. Okay, he might have had an affair with someone that he did business with, like entertainment business with. I just get like something about him was irresistible. Yeah, your grandmother was very much so like a caretaker. She took very good care of your grandfather, even till the end. Feel like he liked to go to the ocean at night and maybe talk to Yemoya or talk to some feminine energy that he would sit with, like a spiritual goddess energy, or maybe like his mother or someone like a feminine energy he would talk to. He would pray to or consult or find solitude and peace by the ocean, by the water at night. But he loved the ocean at any time of the day, but at night he loved to sit. Mm, yeah. Your grandfather, it's like he had a favorite drink. What was this? I'm picking up. It was like it's some type of tea or coffee type drink. It could have like some type of special flavor to it. Like let's say like flavored. Like the coffee could have been like chocolate flavor. So something I don't know. It's weird. Okay. So let's see what else wants to come through, grandfather. If I said father multiple times in this, because I feel like I slipped up a few times and said father in some of these so far. This is grandfather. We're make no mistake. Okay, your father could be very much similar to his father, your grandfather. Could have a lot of similarities, but I feel like I slipped up. Um, what else? Okay, Pueblo and Velador. So light a candle. Something about his path. Your path is also lit for you. He has connections to the moon. Maybe there's a specific moon that's coming up that maybe you're called to him, called to work with him, honor him. There could be a street or something like his hometown, a street that he lived on, or maybe you might pass by a street with his name or his surname or something like. Oh, one more. What did I say? He has a favorite drink. You have bebida. Um, he has a favorite drink. My Spanish sucks, but y'all, I understand it to an extent. So I know this is a beverage or a drink. He has a favorite drink, and he might ask you to drop that off for him. Okay, um, or give that to him if you have an altar space or something. But yeah, a special drink of his that he enjoyed. I said that. I felt that. I'm like, your grandpa likes some type of drink. You want to come in, baby? Huh? Let me let my baby in. I'm gonna still talk. Yeah, but he has a favorite drink. Y'all grandfathers are real chill, real cool. Like this reading is not like stuffy and like it's a lot of distractions going on while I'm trying to read. Thankfully I have this microphone that's wireless. I can walk around and talk to y'all still, but I just had to let my baby in. He was outside. Oh, my meowster. All right, let's get a message from the messages from heaven communication card. And we'll close this thing out. So if you guys want your own ancestral guidance reading, you guys can book that on my website. I'll leave the link in the description and in the comments, as well as shadow work readings if you guys are interested in, working on some things during the Scorpio season. Uncover some deep things that you might need to release and heal. Strike while the iron is hot. All right, let's see. Grandfathers of pile number 2, the collective pile number 2. What is your message for them? Okay, problems that have held you back are being cleared. We are monitoring it. Okay, so whatever you got going on that you're worried about, they got you. They're not even tripping off of this. Your grandfather knows how to make a way from nothing. So on the other side, he can see things very clear, crystal clear. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to him. It was fun tapping into his energy. And we're going to close the reading out. So much love to y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if it genuinely resonates with you. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until the next read. Peace. Okay, so I'm just going to clear this up. I love these cards so much. They're so cool. I love them. Okay, let's clear the tarot deck up. Okay. Alrighty. So if you guys were drawn to the beloved dead deck, this is your reading. Okay. Like a disclaimer, for everyone else, some of the messages may sound like your grandfather's energy or things that you've heard, and some things may not resonate with you or make sense. So just discard those things that do not resonate with you, right? Because there's other people watching. So some of these messages will come out and be like, okay, that's for me. Some of them, they ain't gonna make no sense, okay? So let's tap in. Grandpa's energy feels very like sweet but stern, like very serious but sweet. Might have been kind of quiet, not because he was shy, but just kind of observant, an observant person, a very reflective person. Yeah, very introspective. He feels like a Pisces to me, or some type of air sign, but I'm not going to say air sign because, Geminis, they can talk now. But maybe when he gets comfortable, he kind of opens up and talks and lets you in. But other than that, he's just like the grandfather that minds his business. During the family gatherings, he'll be in his room or in the living room sitting watching TV, watching a game or something. Like he ain't bothering nobody, don't bother me type of energy. Okay, let's see what he talking about. Let's start with the tarot first. I'm going to also close the reading out with the messages from heaven communication cards to see what messages, what he wants to tell you as well. Okay, so you guys be asking about more than one grandfather, so more than one energy might come through that resonates with you. Okay, so passed over grandfathers for collective of pile number 3, Spirit. What do you want them to know? Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. Your grandfather was very generous, very loving, King of Wands. I feel like a lot of people adored him and liked him and loved him. The Fool. When he was young, he has a lot of stories to tell, like the life that he lived. Could have been a theater kid, or he loved movies. He loved to go to the theater. Nine of Swords, High Priestess, Six of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. Yeah, could have met your grandmother um through the like similar arts. Like they both may have had an interest. He was very giving and very generous to women. If there was a, they had like his parents or his family, or if he hired his own like maid or something, which I feel like could have been an African American woman. Um, he was very generous. Like he wasn't, because there's something about this, and I kind of picked up a similar energy in pile one, I think it was, where there was a timeline where racism was still very prevalent and very thick, but African Americans were able to work, but work kind of like low paying jobs. But I feel like he could have easily been an asshole to the workers, but he wasn't. But I'm getting just generosity, financially and emotionally, very generous, very giving person. In his youth, he was very active. He had a very um, lively spirit, very active person, um, very sociable. He liked maybe the wrong type of women at one point. He was kind of into opposites track, like women that could have been like out there, very loose and crazy and wild, very opposite from his mother. Like I don't feel like he was attracted to women like his mother, like energetic wise. Like you know how some men, they'll be drawn to women that kind of have similar characteristics as their mom. Like, oh, I want a woman that's sweet like my mom and this and that. No, he wanted something else. Well, your grandmother fit into that mold, but she wasn't wild. I feel like she was kind of like him. I feel like he was trying to figure out what he wanted. Your grandmother, she was like him, eccentric. And I feel like she was into theater, music, and movies. She was also very witchy too, like spirit, like spiritual. Um, yeah, very spiritual. Like she was into spiritual arts. So that could have intrigued him because I feel like his mom was very conservative. Though he respects her, he loves her. That's not what he was into. Like that's not what he was looking for in a woman. Like yeah, loyalty, someone that loves him for him and things like that, and but not that conservative vibe. He wasn't into that. Like your grandmother was very um sensual, like her body. Maybe she was like into a certain type of dance. I feel like he was like how to explain this, like this dynamic. He wasn't conservative, but he was more like, how can I explain this? Trying to see if there's like a couple that I can. Hmm, let's say like the high school, like the all American guy, high school boy that plays football, like plays sports, in theater, smart, and then the girl that he's into is kind of like, um, not gothic, but like she has like a alternative, like she's kind of dark with her clothing style and her jewelry and like things she's into. And it's like, what the fuck are y'all doing together? But there's a side to him though that's like very free, and but it's manifested differently than her free. But he's not into the preppy, perfect, Susie Q type girls. He's not into that. He wasn't into that. Grandma was like very alluring too, like witchy, but he liked it. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like a, I don't know, your grandfather gives me, I know he came out as the King of Wands, but he gives me Gemini energy for some reason. Maybe Pisces gives me that, and grandma gives me like Scorpio energy. Maybe even Libra, because Libras can be quite seductive now. They're quite sexual. Maybe because they're so close to Scorpio energy, but yeah, they have a quality, like kind of dark feminine energy as well. Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see what else grandfather wants to talk about. Grandparents could be from two different cultures as well. Okay. Snake, time, and things. Hmm. Yeah, he knew how to like shapeshift, kind of like socially adjust, like adjust to different types of groups and people. Like he knew how to show up. Like, okay, if I hang out with the conservatives, I know how to cloak myself and kind of like, converse with them and, be amongst them and work with them or whatever. And rebels and, the black people. And, I know how to form, I know how to maneuver. Yeah, he did. And then you have time. So he has like his, if you were able to, because your grandmother, if she's still living, she has a lot of record of him, whether it's like photographs and or videos, memories, letters. Like she has a lot of things kept, like safe kept keepsakes, whatever, of your grandfather. She has a record of a lot of things of him. Um, things. He, the way he saw material things was just kind of like it's just junk. He doesn't find value in anything that he left behind, like watches and shit like that. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. And most spirits do when they pass on. They don't care about that type of stuff. It's like more so the energies, the connections that they form, the memories, not the material items. But even when he was living, he might have had stuff kind of just thrown around in boxes and um he didn't care. For the end of his life, it wasn't that he was dying inside. It's just kind of like that very vibrant, playful energy. He kind of just settled. Like he felt like, okay, I'm at this stage in my life. I'm older. I'm gonna relax. I've done whatever. I felt like I lived. I'm good. I'm chill. Which is why he probably was like more quiet in his later years and just chilling and watching his family, celebrate and do, like he felt like I can chill and just sit back and watch and observe now. I don't have to be all up in the mix. Like I can still join in my family and be present and still love everyone, but I'm just watching. I'm chill. So that's kind of what I get from him. Now let's get a message from him to you, your grandfather. He liked to wear interesting clothes. He had an interesting style, very unique, very eccentric, like strange glasses and hats and like suits and pants. Like I said, he was very much into film and theater, whether he was a theater kid himself or just very much into movies and art and fashion. Okay, his message to you is we support you as you cleanse and clear, both inside and out. Okay, so Scorpio season, if you're watching this during this time, we're just going through a season of transformation and change and clearing. They're there. He's here with you. He understands that he's a very open-minded person, very fluid and very, I don't know. Like I said, he, excuse me, maybe even Sagittarian energy or some type of quality of that. I get a strong Gemini energy from them. Just, I don't know. I just do. But that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I enjoyed all of the grandfather's energies. They were all cool. I liked it a lot. So I'm sending much love to you guys. Y'all be blessed, be safe. Don't forget, if you would like to book your own ancestral guidance reading, I will link it in the description as well as in the comments. And also, if you would like to book a shadow work reading, I got you as well. I'll link that as well from my website. And until next time, y'all be blessed, be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next Passed Over Loved One installment. Pick a card reading. Peace.